Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 was released on November 10th, 2009. This was one of the many Call of Duties to release during their golden age of games. From the awesome campaign, tense and hectic multiplayer, and addictive special operations, there's a lot of fun to be had when playing through this game. World at War and MW2 were some of the first COD games that I played, though I didn't really start playing until Black Ops 1. This was because as a young lad, I had to sneak playing these rated M games, which is funny looking back on it. Nowadays, I have fond memories from these early to mid COD titles. I want to revisit the COD series, but with a twist, our very own pistols only challenge. Before we hop into the challenge run, let's go over the rules. Starting things off, we must use pistols only. There are a variety of pistols to use, from regular semi-auto options to fully automatic. There are numerous choices. You'll have to hope certain missions start with them, and or they are easily accessible throughout. The game will be played on the veteran difficulty, which is the most difficult option. Next, we must beat the game. There are over 10 plus missions, so it'll be interesting to see how things fare. Lastly, glitches and or exploits are allowed, so expect some cheeky ways to take down enemies and get around areas. Call of Duty series varies in its quality. This time period of games I really enjoyed. Because of this, I want to continue the pistols only challenge that I started on a Republic Commando game. Check that out if you're interested, alongside the World at War one. I plan to go through more of these games, so let me know if this is something you would like to see. Make sure to smash the like button, comment and subscribe if you haven't yet. Without further ado, let's get into the run. Starting the challenge, we get a recap of the previous installment, alongside hearing General Shepard speak about the current world state. Some of these quotes are absolute bangers, I must say. One thing I really enjoyed from the Modern Warfare side of games compared to the Black Ops series were the intros to each of the missions. The first mission, SSDD, gets the player accompanied to the basics of warfare, from firing while using the iron sights to practicing with grenades. Afterwards, we were able to roam around and get to see what the base is like. Final thing we will have to do in this mission is a quick gauntlet, taking down enemy targets while making sure to not hit civilians. I managed my first try to get a decent time, which resulted in them recommending the veteran difficulty. This was going to be chosen anyways, but it's nice to see the game recognize the old COD skills. Thankfully, numerous pistols were available. We were able to go through the course with them. While it was unfortunate that the game starts with an M4 compared to a pistol, I believe this could be argued it was completed with pistols only. Subsequently, the next mission starts chaotically with an RPG hitting close to Private Allen, the Army Ranger that we've been playing as. Really enjoy the way Shepard yells at the player to get up, to then getting beamed from afar with enemy rifle fire. Starting with an M9 pistol, this will be excellent since it has a large magazine, so I will need to reload less often alongside taking down multiple enemies. Quickly, we can see the downsides to using pistols only, which is at range. Pistols will take numerous shots in order to take down enemies. Then we get a minigun section. While this is badass to use, we are going to have to count this mission already as non-doable. These sections in the mission where the player's on rails will be really tough. Previously, when I went through World at War, I found something similar, which is a few instances where the player, needs to fire a sniper or, rockets and so on. Let's start to track the number of missions where pistols only is not possible. This will be quite interesting to see. After the Humvee, the other troops and I began flushing out the enemies. Fortunately, I found a G18 machine pistol. Compared to the more standard pistols that were found in World at War, this is an instant upgrade. On the plus side, this weapon fires extremely fast and has a large magazine. Downside is that the recoil can be quite hard to control, so accurate shots are not really possible. I found what worked best was quick bursts to best control my aim. Cliffhanger has Roach and Soap infiltrate an enemy base on top of a snowy mountain. Starting with an ACR that has a heartbeat sensor alongside a USP pistol, this will be great at navigating the landscape. During this mission, I would only use the pistol, but would occasionally switch to the ACR just for the heartbeat sensor, not taking down enemies with it. This mission in particular tested my aiming, since a miss or a body shot would alert nearby enemy units, so caution had to be taken. As the mission is playing out, let me talk about a few things. First is that this is the remastered version of MW2. I realized that I started playing it years ago, but never ended up finishing the first playthrough. Years ago, I had experienced the awesome and painful moments of this campaign in the 2009 version, so I get to go through it again now. Ultimately, this led to me getting all the achievements and a bonus challenge at the end of the video. Second, the veteran difficulty is no joke, similar to World at War. While enemies throw grenades far less often, you will still pack quite the punch with modern weaponry. There were more than a few instances where I would get beamed near instantly. That's just in this mission alone. Because we stole the intel alongside getting our position compromised, Soap and Roach end up on snowmobiles trying to get the hell out of there. As they're doing that, numerous other enemies will hound the player. This was such an awesome mission. I knew that this pistol's only challenge, while difficult, was going to be quite entertaining. Next mission is...
Remember, no Russian.
Oh yeah, the most infamous one. I did end up getting a few pistols and complete the whole mission with them. As this mission is quite dark and gruesome, let's move on. The main highlight is that Makarov knew the United States sent a double agent, so now the whole airport attack makes it seem like a targeted event. Takedown starts explosively with a high value target shooting at our car. After grabbing a Desert Eagle, I pursued the person of interest. Once captured, Soap and Ghost go to work on interrogation while the other troops help us to push further into the town. Eventually, I was able to obtain Akimbo Desert Eagles alongside a G18. The Akimbo Deagles are quite crap compared to the G18, where at the very least my shots will be a little bit more accurate. On the plus side, the Deagles just have that aura to them. The next section proved to be extremely challenging, resulting in many deaths. There were a few reasons for this. Enemies were spread about on rooftops, peeking out of windows, or nearby rushing in. Needless to say, shit really started to hit the fan. This area alone produced more than 5+ deaths. Even then, I knew things weren't over, only getting more tough as we progressed through the game. Sooner or later, we meet up back with Ghost and Soap, finishing the mission with the other high-value target captured. Eventually, the battle comes to our homeland, so Sergeant Foley and the other troopers must retake and hold key points of interest. Initially though, we have to hold off and avoid an enemy BTR. Packs heavy hitting rounds, so best not to get hit by it. Nearby to the gas station, after clearing a large group of enemies, I was able to obtain a PP-2000 machine pistol. Between the G18 and this, the PP-2000 is a lot more accurate, but falls off hard in the rate of fire department. As the mission is going on, let's talk about pistols only. While the game is still extremely difficult, it is far more doable it seems than World at War, with numerous pistols able to be picked up and taken off of enemies. World at War, it was extremely rare to find pistols. Essentially, the player would have to get lucky with an enemy in last stand, hoping they pull one out. Since I'm able to find them more often, it means more ammunition in reserve. It is fascinating comparing this to World at War and Republic Commando. For instance, in Republic Commando, the pistol had infinite ammo, but was a glorified pea shooter, dealing the least damage with each blaster bolt. Still, in the end, it got its job done. On the flip side, we actually have pistols that deal fair damage, usually 2 to 3 shotting an enemy. There are still plenty of pistols that we have yet to come across, so I'm interested to see how those will suffice. Ultimately, the mission was completed, but unfortunately the UAV drone was needed, so yeah, another mission where pistols only cannot be achieved. Hornet's Nest resumes Ghost, Soap, and Roach's mission in South America. Near the beginning, I was able to pick up a piece of intel. While it isn't the most necessary for the main storyline, it is needed for a 100% run alongside unlocking cool and wacky things in the museum. Don't worry, I'll be showcasing that in a bonus challenge at the end, so stay tuned. As per usual, I went around taking enemies down with the G18, and it seems like this machine pistol will be one of the more common options in this campaign, as numerous enemy factions wield this weapon. I had to make sure to check every corner, otherwise a quick death would be coming my way. One thing that is much better compared to World at War is the AI. Especially friendly teammates. While they won't mow down every enemy, they are far more competent than some other COD entries. The mission shifts where the good guys have to scramble around the rooftops in order to make it to the extraction helicopter. This is when Roach misses the jump, so a desperate scramble to reach the secondary LZ ensues. Enemies fired their weapon from every direction. Ultimately, I reached the helicopter, finishing another mission. The next 3 missions I'm going to talk about together, since in all of them, pistols only could not be achieved. This was due to the player being in situations where they're on the rails and forced to use a limited selection at their disposal. Exodus was the Honey Badger tank, as it was necessary to use throughout the mission. The only easy day was yesterday, had the player breach rooms using an M4A1, and no pistol secondary was given or could be obtained. Lastly, the Gulag. Players given an EBR rifle to destroy enemy and defense emplacements. Needless to say, it was a bit unfortunate that this occurred. Similar to World at War, I understood that these things could occur. After these sections, I did find and just use pistols only, but we still have to count these missions against the challenge. Main takeaway from these missions is that we pushed the enemies further away from our homeland, destroyed key anti-air defenses that protected the Gulag, then proceed to break into the Gulag, rescuing Captain Price. Subsequently, back on US soil, we continue fighting off the enemies and thankfully start with a pistol. Going from trench to trench, Sergeant Foley and the other company members make it to the enemy's bunkered position. Quickly, I was able to pick up another pistol and notice a few ammo crates where I could continually resupply from. This mission involved a lot of close quarters combat, mainly enemies using surprise tactics to get a few shots on me. That ultimately meant a quick death since 2 to 3 shots would be it for me. Didn't help that there was very little cover in some sections. Couch in an open hallway, maybe a stack of crates if you are lucky. Getting to a higher elevation, we were tasked with using a javelin rocket to take down some helicopters and armored vehicles. Another section where pistols only could not be completed. When I think of the MW2 campaign, I think about Burger Town Holdout alongside trekking through the snow-covered forest with Price. Fortunately, I started with a pistol, so let's push forward. I was a bit impatient with a few early sections and ended up falling in battle more than I care to admit. Veteran difficulty really has been no joke in this game, with enemies being extremely aware, dealing massive damage, generally being in big groups. Each encounter thus far has tested my combat abilities, especially aiming. Further on, the player is supposed to use a UAV drone to take down the incoming waves of enemies. Yeah, add another tally to the tracker for that one. While I was using it, I ended up getting this hilarious bug where the Predator drone was just not functional and it would cause death after death for me. It was funny, but yeah, I was unable to do anything with the drone computer out like that. Because of this, I ended up restarting the mission since when the checkpoint was reloaded, I was still stuck in that glitch. Then I booked it back to where we acquired the drone. From then on, we were tasked with stopping the missile launch from the submarine. Numerous AGMs rained down while Captain Price worked his magic. Ultimately though, the missile was deployed. The next two missions I'm going to talk about together since this involves the Army Rangers continuing the fight on the home front. Second Son starts with an EMP being detonated, rendering all electronic equipment useless. Helicopters came crashing out of the sky as the remaining troops rushed for cover. I started with an M9 and used it nearly for the entire mission. There were a few instances where the PP-2000 would be a bit more optimal, and so I'd switch over for those sections. The mission ends, where the next subsequent mission would start, Whiskey Hotel. Afterwards, I get destroyed by a volley of bullets over and over again. It's been enjoyable playing the older COD titles, especially on the hardest difficulty. A blast of the past, alongside showing another side to the game. Veteran especially, massively changes how the player has to proceed through each mission. Generally, more methodical and optimal actions had to be undertaken constantly. With trouble looming, Sergeant Foley, Private Ramirez, and company push the enemies out of the White House. Sooner or later, we have to raise a flare, letting friendly jets know that this area has been recaptured, making sure to not blow us up into oblivion. Finally, we make it to loose ends. Initially, we have to traverse through a minefield with enemies popping up at vantage points. Pushing into the house, we have to clear it, then steal the encrypted data. Beforehand, and while I was prepping for the assault, I found the weapon cache and was happy to see a plethora of options for pistols. I ended up selecting the MP9 since we haven't used it thus far yet. Essentially, it is much faster shooting than a PP-2000, far more accurate than a G18. At least that's the way it seemed for me. As the data is being transferred, numerous enemy waves will hand the player, ghosts, and other members of Task Force 141. Best place to hold out while the enemies push the estate was on top of the staircase, as there was only one way up that could be easily covered. Another plus side was that enemies would continually try to take cover behind this wooden door, so a few shots through usually did the trick. With the data transferred, we are now forced to retreat, hoping to get saved by the incoming reinforcements at the LZ. Getting there was insanely difficult, surprisingly, like really difficult. I think in this section alone, I died at least like 10 plus times. From snipers with ghillie suits to the scarce cover, it meant a tough and challenging time. I realized after the first few attempts that I was playing things much too passively, but once I kicked things into overdrive, I was able to complete the mission. Unfortunately, General Shepard betrays us and ghosts. We see their final moments as the other Task Force 141 members try warning them through the comms. Little did they know, it was already too late. Price, Soap, and other members knowing what happened to Ghost and Roach, they strike a deal with Makarov. As the saying goes, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So an unstable partnership was founded. While this is going on, Soap has to get through Makarov and Shepard's men. Caught in between, we have to reach the other side of the air base where Price and reinforcements are located. Almost all of this mission was completed with pistols only, but I started with an MP5 and EBR, so yeah, I had to take one off an enemy. General Shepard needed to pay for his betrayal, and so Soap and Captain Price set off to infiltrate his compound. This then meant an on-the-rails sniper section, and later on a riot shield section. Because most of this mission wasn't able to be completed with pistols, let's move on to the final one. The game has Soap and Price avenge their fallen comrades by putting an end to General Shepard. On a sad note, the player is given an Uzi submachine gun for the entire mission. I wish it would have been a G18 pistol like in the snowmobile section. As the mission is going on, let's talk about pistols only over the course of the run. Pistols only has been both fun and challenging in Modern Warfare 2. World at War, pistols compared to other weaponry like shotguns, snipers, and so on were arguably much worse. Modern Warfare 2 pistols on the flip side are a whole other beast. In certain cases, especially regarding the machine pistols, they have some high firepower, nearly matching other weapons, especially, primary weapons. Not all missions could be completed with pistols only, similar to World at War. It was interesting comparing the trackers for each. Veteran difficulty has been no joke. Numerous deaths over the course of the run. The campaign was still extremely challenging. It was far more tame than World at War on the highest difficulty. In the end, we take down Shepard, but Soap has been injured. In the future, I plan to continue going through the COD games and seeing how the other titles fare. Let me know down below in the comments. Do you want to see more pistols only challenges? Should I broaden the focus to other games as well? I'm interested to hear. The video is not done yet, far from it. There are things I did after the pistols only challenge, which was collecting all the achievements, meant a no death run, alongside messing in the museum with all the collectibles on. Let's start with all the achievements. About half of all the achievements I unlocked over the course of the pistols only challenge. These were the easy things such as completing each mission, alongside beating it on veteran difficulty, and so on. I started to go through missions, figuring out which missions were tied to each achievement. Since I noticed that some missions didn't need to be completed, I completely avoided those and knocked them out in order. Some highlights were the training ground clowns and figuring out where they were, getting a good time in the SSDD pits. That took so many attempts, the Immortal achievement, and so on. But that's some of the highlights of the achievement hunting journey, as I want to talk about something that I forgot to mention in the World at War video. Black Ops 7 around the corner. I have to admit, I've never been more apathetic about this franchise than now. After the Modern Warfare 2 remake, not the remastered, which is this, I decided to not put time into the newer COD titles since it got that Fortnite-ification effect. Lost this grounded and cool tone. Similar to Rainbow Six Siege and how the operators were awesome at first, but over the years got more animated and cartoony as it went on. Myself, and it seems like many other people, are not that excited for BO7, evident by the multiple trailers comment sections. Black Ops 2 was such a solid storyline, but it sucks to see it getting trampled on. There have been two things lacking in the newer Call of Duty games that I want to showcase, see if others agree or disagree. First is starting and loading into a match. This is usually a quick 10 to 20 second prep phase, but can really make the player feel immersed if executed properly. I think Modern Warfare 2 2009 does this excellently. Operator for the team gives a quick and cool one-liner, then a guitar riff plays or something.
Make this quick and clean. Team deathmatch. Deadly force is authorized. Time to work, soldiers.
Secondly is the kill streaks. From World at War up to Ghosts, I have to say that this is when these were in their prime. World at War in the early titles had the operators and advisors screaming their lines if a threat was immediate, really enhancing the first-person shooter experience. Later on, the operators would become more monotone, but the diversity of cool kill streaks helped to make things still more interesting.
Riot team will be on station in 30 seconds. Thermal scans show attack dogs in your area.
Friendly Cobra inbound. Our spy plane's in the air. Heads up, enemy RCXD spotted.
Enemy artillery! Our recon plane will find them, wherever they hide. Unleash the dogs! Enemy recon plane, right above us!
While COD Ghosts was far from the best Call of Duty, the multiplayer, in my opinion, was a lot of fun back in the day. Some maps had specific kill streaks attached to them, which was a neat concept, from a tactical nuke to literally Michael Myers. Even if some fans were unhappy about these, the devs were at least trying something new. Nowadays, the COD games are on a standard formula, just recycling past year's successes. I think that there is a 99% chance that it won't get it, but I'm interested to see some of the campaign's cutscenes, as I really enjoy the main actor's previous work on the TV show Heroes. When the announcers and kill streaks are minuscule in comparison to the massive problems plaguing the newer games, it is still interesting to look at. Thank you for watching the video. Make sure to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. It greatly helps to support me and the channel, alongside pushing the video to others who may be interested. Try to do something kind for someone today, whether it's a small or large gesture. This is your boy Skilled Fawn, and I'm out.